Good afternoon from the SpaceX webcast studio at our headquarters in Hawthorne, California. I'm John Innsbrucker, and I'll be bringing you commentary on today's launch attempt of the Falcon 9. SpaceX is launching the Turkmen 52E Monaco sat into a geosynchronous transfer orbit. We're just over 19 minutes and counting down towards launch from Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral. Liftoff is targeted for 6:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 22 hours, 14 minutes Universal Time. The launch window today extends for 90 minutes. The SpaceX Falcon 9 team has had a quiet countdown that has run smoothly during the day. Falcon 9 rolled out to the pad late afternoon of the 26th. A photo of the rollout can be found on the SpaceX Twitter page. Shortly after arriving at the pad, the integrated vehicle was raised to vertical. Propellant loading began on time this afternoon, with final liquid oxygen load commencing at T-minus 30 minutes. Currently, we are topping off liquid oxygen on the stages and preparing for terminal countdown. The Thales spacecraft is quiet right now. Their last major activity is transferring to internal power, which is happening as I speak. Today, the issue in the countdown is the weather. We're currently no-go. We have concerns over both thick clouds coming from the west of Cape Canaveral and anvil clouds. We're going to get a briefing at approximately T-minus 12 minutes from the weather officer, which will let us know whether we should continue into the terminal countdown sequence that begins at T-minus 10 minutes. We'll listen to the SpaceX launch conductor polling of the team when that occurs. Our best chance, we thought, was at the opening of the window, but now we're reevaluating with the weather officer. Now, currently, our customer has prepared a short video overview of the spacecraft and its mission that we will show you. Following this 4-minute video, we'll come back, listen to the go-no-go poll for terminal countdown, and see how the weather looks.
Turkmen 52E Monaco sat is the Turkmenistan's first telecommunications satellite. It is a high-performance satellite that will secure and enhance telecommunications in Turkmenistan, complying with the priority objectives of the government. Turkmen 52E Monaco sat will also contribute to the economic diversification of Turkmenistan, allowing the creation of innovative communications and control systems, the implementation of knowledge-based projects, the improvement of infrastructures, and the development of space applications in Turkmenistan.
The launch of Turkmen telecommunications satellite is a vital first step in Turkmenistan's development as a space nation, as envisioned and designed under the guidance of a president, Mr. Berdimuhamedov.
This satellite is a telecommunication satellite which will operate in Ku band. It will cover almost all the Earth with 3 main coverage, 2 in FSS and BSS from west of Europe up to China, and 1 in FSS and BSS in Africa and the Middle East.
At Thales Alenia Space, we were extremely honored that the government chose us in 2011 to build this program after a thorough and professional procurement process. We took it to heart and fully embraced the responsibility. More than simply building a satellite, we have been laying the foundations of the space ambitions for a whole nation.
Turkmenistan will get an autonomy because they will be able to transmit their TV channels from their own satellite, and of course any kind of telecommunication transmission all over the world. It is what we call an in-orbit delivery contract, which means that we built not only 1 satellite but also 2 ground stations in Turkmenistan. We train a number of Turkmen engineers, and we also buy insurance and the launch services.
We are SSI, the Space Systems International of Monaco. We are very much honored to be the founder of this satellite project, MonacoSat, and we are very much pleased to be the partner of Turkmenistan for this Turkmen 52 East and MonacoSat satellite project. This satellite is the first telecommunication satellite for Monaco and Turkmenistan. We will reach with this satellite around 1.2 billion people in Central Asia, Europe, Middle East and North Africa. I would like to thank to Monseigneur Prince Albert II of Monaco for his encouragement and support, and to Hürmetli President of Turkmenistan for his starting of such a prestigious project for this region.
would like to thank the teams today for all the work done by those involved in this project. Turkmenistan and its president, of course, the French company Thales Space, the satellite's manufacturer, the American company SpaceX, who have enabled its launch, and of course the Monaco company Space System International and its director, Mr. Ilhami Aygun.
I wish good luck and success for everybody for this launch. Thank you.
I also would like to take this opportunity to thank my Thales Space team, as well as all subcontractors, for the very good spirit they have had along the program, as well as the very good efficiency.
On behalf of everybody at Thales Space involved in this program, I would like to thank very warmly and sincerely, first of all, the President of Turkmenistan, but also the Ministry of Communications, the National Space Agency, SSI Monaco and the Government of Monaco for their cooperation, their support, and for their trust during these past few years. Let me formulate the wish that Turkmen is the beginning of a long and fruitful partnership between Thales Space and Turkmenistan.
We're now going to listen to the Falcon 9 launch conductor poll the team for readiness to enter terminal count at T-minus 13 minutes.
All stations verify ready for launch. FTS.
FTS go.
Prop.
Prop go.
AVI.
AVI go.
GNC.
GNC go.
Ground.
Ground is go.
BC.
BC go.
GC.
GC's go.
RC.
RC go.
OSM.
OSM go.
ELVO.
No go.
Copy. No go on weather. LV. Permission to stop the clock and recycle to T-minus 20 minutes and holding.
That's approved. Bring us back T-minus 20 minutes.
Copy. Clock has been stopped. And we are at T-minus 20 minutes and holding. Stand by on the countdown net while we coordinate a new T0.
This is John Insberger back at Falcon Launch Control webcast in Hawthorne, California. As you just heard, during the readiness for terminal count poll, the SpaceX launch conductor polled the 13 members of the team, but when we got to the weather poll, we found the conditions were no-go for the opening of the window at 14 minutes after the hour. Currently, we're violating both the thick cloud rule and the anvil cloud rule. At the moment, we have recycled to T-minus 20 minutes. The spacecraft will go back to external power while the rocket and the spacecraft stand at 20 minutes, and we evaluate conditions and possible launch opportunities later on this afternoon. As a reminder, the window for today's launch extends 90 minutes, so we do have opportunities if the weather will cooperate. With that, we'll go back to a shot of the vehicle on the pad while the launch team at Cape Canaveral works with the weather officer to evaluate opportunities for launch later this afternoon.
RCOFNet.
Good afternoon again from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. I've got a minor update. Falcon 9 spacecraft continue to be ready if we get a launch opportunity this afternoon. We're continuing to evaluate weather conditions further to the west over Florida. There is one opportunity the weather team is looking at that's currently about 50 to 75 miles away where conditions may be improving to where we would not be in violation of the thick cloud and the anvil cloud rules. There is no time yet predicted on when that would drift over the launch complex at Cape Canaveral. What we at SpaceX have asked for is about a 25-minute heads up so that we can get the spacecraft back to internal power, hold the team, and get into terminal countdown. So at the moment, we have not established a new target T0. We are working into our 90-minute window right now, and we will be back to you in about 15 minutes with an update, or sooner if we have information. For now, Falcon 9 is holding at T-minus 20 minutes as we look for a weather opportunity later this afternoon. This is John Insberger again from the webcast studios here in Hawthorne, California at SpaceX headquarters. We still do not have a new T0 time established. However, latest word from the launch weather officer is conditions do appear to be improving over the Florida Peninsula. There is a good trend on radar. There is an aircraft in the area monitoring and looking at the clouds. So at the moment, we still are in violation of the thick cloud rule and the anvil cloud rule, but it appears that we may get a good forecast for another launch opportunity from the weather officer. So we'll stand by and wait for the heads up. We've asked again for a 25-minute warning that weather conditions should be good at T0. We'll pick up the count at T-minus 20 minutes as the spacecraft goes to internal, then do the poll of the SpaceX team, and enter into terminal count, weather permitting. So with that, we'll be back when we've got information on a possible T0 in the window today. We're back live from the SpaceX webcast studios here in Hawthorne, California. We did get an update from the weather officer. Looks like in a little under 23 minutes, we may get an opening in the weather conditions. Currently, SpaceX is coordinating with the Air Force and the customer a new T0 of 53 minutes after the hour. That would be 22 hours, 53 minutes universal time, 6:53 p.m. Eastern time. What we would see is the clock release at T-minus 20 minutes once we have a new T0 coordinated. The spacecraft would go to internal power. We will then poll the team, at our standard readiness poll opportunity and enter into the terminal countdown at T minus 10 minutes. So for the moment, we are going to wait and see if we get an okay to attempt a launch at 22:53. We'll be back shortly here at SpaceX Webcast Studios.
Launch conductor on countdown 1. I've reperformed section 10.60. Technical team has been pulled. They'll be standing by for terminal count.
Copy. Copy, sending a liftoff time of 22:53. Clock is counting at T minus 19 minutes and 35 seconds. Mission manager informed the spacecraft that F9 is ready to proceed with terminal count.
Copy that. We'll go. Elsie, this is mission manager on countdown 1.
Go ahead.
Confirming that spacecraft is on internal power and go for launch.
Copy. OSM, verify the flight hazard area roadblocks are established.
They are established.
DE, set the warning phase to terminal count. DE, countdown net.
C.
Set the warning phase to terminal count.
Set.
We're at T-minus 15 minutes and counting. Currently, the SpaceX team is waiting to do the readiness poll at T-minus 13 minutes. Spacecraft is transferring to internal power. We are working with the weather officer to determine whether or not conditions will be go at the planned T0 of 22 hours, 53 minutes universal time. We may go through the readiness poll at T-minus 13 minutes and hold because we need some more time for the clouds to thin out. So we'll listen at T-minus 13 minutes as we do readiness and determine where the T0 may be moving to. In fact, actually, we're hearing right now that weather is telling us that they're going to predict we need about another 10 minutes before the clouds would thin out. So currently, the SpaceX team is coordinating a new T0 of 3 minutes after the hour, which is 23 hours, 3 minutes, universal time, or 7:03 Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be back to you shortly with any updates as we get them. Currently, we're still optimistic that the weather will improve and we'll be aiming for a launch at 3 minutes after the top of the hour.
Okay, issuing a new T0 time of 23:03. Clock is counting at T-minus 22 minutes and 35 seconds. OSM, can you verify again that the flight hazard area roadblocks are established?
They are established.
T-minus 17 minutes.
This is John Innsbrucker again at SpaceX Webcast Studios here in Hawthorne, California. We're currently just inside T-minus 15 minutes. We continue waiting for the weather rules to turn green, hopefully, but we are counting down for a launch attempt at 3 minutes after the top of the hour. Currently, the Falcon 9 team is working no issues. The spacecraft team has gone to internal power earlier. They remain on internal power, and we are mostly just waiting for the weather right now. Wind aloft conditions are good. The Falcon 9 can fly through the upper altitude winds without problems. We're just working ground level winds, ground level clouds, the thick clouds and the anvil clouds. We continue to expect the two conditions to turn green in the next several minutes. So right now we're going to listen in at the T-minus 13 minute mark where the SpaceX launch conductor polls the team for readiness. We'll hear what the launch weather officer has to say about conditions. Now, as a reminder on this flight, as you can see on the screen when we have close-ups of the Falcon 9 vehicle, there are no grid fins, there are no landing legs on the first stage. The first stage is not recovered on this flight. We're using the performance of the Falcon 9 to put the Turkmen LM-52E MonacoSat satellite into the geosynchronous transfer orbit. So with that, T-minus 13 minutes and 30 seconds, let's wait for the readiness poll to enter terminal count.
All stations verify ready for launch. FTS.
FTS go.
Prop.
Prop go.
AVI.
AVI go.
GNC.
GNC go.
Ground.
Ground is go.
VC.
VC go.
GC.
GC's go.
RC.
RC go.
OSM.
No.
LWO.
Hello is no go, but expected to go shortly.
Copy. Proceeding. ROC. CE.
CE go.
Mission Manager.
Mission manager go.
LD. Verify go to initiate terminal count.
Go to initiate terminal count. Proceeding with terminal count. Countdown master.
We're T-minus 12 minutes and counting. You've heard the SpaceX team give their go for entering the terminal countdown. Terminal countdown is the sequence in which the Falcon 9 flight computers and ground computers control the final events in the countdown to launch. We're going to listen to the countdown net as we expect, hopefully, the launch weather officer to remove the no-go condition on weather. So we'll be quiet, let everybody hear that if we get that removal of the constraint from the launch weather officer, and then at T-minus 10 minutes, we will hear the beginning of the terminal count sequence that will lead up to ignition of the 9 Merlin 1D engines just before 0 and release of the vehicle at T-minus 0. So with that, T-minus 11 minutes, 20 seconds and counting, and we'll listen in now to the terminal countdown dialogue.
T-minus 11 minutes. If a hold is called from this point forward, the terminal count idle sequence will be aborted. Indicate an abort or hold condition by saying hold, hold, hold on the primary countdown net. In this event, the VC will immediately abort the idle sequence. The VC shall not abort the idle sequence after T-minus 10 seconds, and operators shall not call a hold after T-minus 10 seconds. If a hold is called, all operators proceed to the terminal count abort steps in section 10.64. Attention all personnel, stand by to pick up the count. T-minus 10 minutes in counting. On my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. VC announce idle sequence has started.
Terminal count auto sequence has started.
GC VC standby on FireX.
Standing by. Standing by.
LD start the track camera video recorders.
And we're
OSM set launch enable flight.
Flight.
Stage 1 engine chilling in.
T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes.
Stage 2 nitrogen ACS closing out. Stage 2 fuel trim valve motions. Stage 1 heaters closing out.
T-minus 7 minutes.
Stage 2 heaters closing out. Vehicle switching to internal power. TVC bleed on stage 2 started.
T-minus 6 minutes.
Tanks pressing for strong back retract. RP1 bleed on stage 2 started. Stage 1 RP1 bleed. We have motion on hydraulic rail clamps.
T-minus 5 minutes.
TVC motions on stage 2. Strong back lower starting.
T-minus 4 minutes.
Tanks venting. Post strong back retract. Strong back is fully retracted. Pogo accumulator bleed vent.
FTS is on internal power. FTS is armed.
GNC announced S2 TVC motion started.
Lock slug closing out. Igniter purges on stage 2.
GNC countdown net. Announced S2 TVC motion started.
Motion has started.
Stage 1 throttle valve, final set points. Stage 2 helium fill closing out.
LD verify go for launch. LD verify go for launch.
Go for launch.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight. TVC final setup started. Stage 2 BTV check complete.
Rock verify range go.
Range green.
Stage 1 helium fill closing out. Fin and stage chef ISO valves closed. Vehicles not idle.
T-minus 1 minute. BC verify F9 is in startup.
Vehicle is in startup. The flight computer has control of the vehicle. Stage 2 tanks pressing for flight.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20. T-minus 15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have liftoff of the Falcon 9. Falcon 9 is 30 dollars.
T plus 60 seconds. Altitude 6 kilometers. Speed 280 meters per second. Downrange distance 2 kilometers. Vehicle supersonic. Vehicles pass through max aerodynamic pressure.
Stage 1 propulsion is still nominal.
Our telemetry and power still look nominal.
Impact chill has begun.
T plus 2 minutes 20 seconds. Altitude 40 kilometers. Speed 1.5 kilometers per second. Downrange distance 50 kilometers.
We have MECO 1.
Stage step confirmed.
And we have MVAC ignition.
Fairing step confirmed.
Bermuda, acquisition of signal.
T plus 4 minutes 20 seconds. Altitude 136 kilometers. Speed 3.2 kilometers per second. Downrange distance 365 kilometers.
Telemetry health and power still look nominal.
Vehicles flying right down the nominal.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
Altitude 168 kilometers. Speed 3.95 kilometers a second. Downrange distance 650 kilometers.
Our telemetry and power still look good.
T plus 6 minutes 30 seconds, altitude 176 kilometers, speed 4.5 kilometers per second, downrange distance 835 kilometers. And vehicle continues to fly down the nominal.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
T plus 7 minutes 30 seconds, altitude 181 kilometers, speed 5.5 kilometers per second, downrange distance 1,150 kilometers. Vehicle's now in terminal guidance.
FTS has been saved.
And we have Cape LOS, driving on Bermuda data at this time.
And we have SECO 1.
We have a good park orbit insertion, 208 by 175 kilometers, inclined 27.7 degrees to the equator.
Well, as you just saw and heard, we've had another successful launch of the Falcon 9 rocket carrying the Turkmen LM-52E Monaco sat into low Earth parking orbit. Orbit injection appears to be accurate after we had to wait for a 49-minute delay due to weather. The next activities will be restart of the second stage engine, placing the spacecraft into geosynchronous transfer orbit. Spacecraft separation is planned to occur at approximately T plus 32 minutes and 15 seconds. However, SpaceX is ending the webcast now. But remember to follow us online at SpaceX.com as well as on our social media pages for mission updates over the next hour. We'd like to close the webcast with a thanks to our customer, to the Air Force for Eastern Range and Ground Station support, to the Federal Aviation Administration, to all of you who followed us on today's launch. And we invite you to follow us in May when SpaceX conducts the pad abort test of our Crew Dragon capsule from Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral. Signing off until then, have a good afternoon.